What is up, and welcome back to 24 Minutes of A24, the podcast that takes a look at the A24 library 24 minutes at a time. I am Ethan Simi.
And I'm Ben Lawhorn. This week on the pod, we're getting into the holiday spirit as we attempt to rank the 13 greatest Christmas movies of all time. An easy task.
Easy task. Super easy, and definitely not a lie from the introduction of saying that we are an A24 pod that talks about A24 24 minutes at a time.
Yes.
So on the if you
I was going to comment, but I didn't want to like ruin your flow. You guys have such a good back and forth. I'm not going to like derail this thing like from the jump, but
sure.
I'm glad you came clean.
Listen, if you're a new listener to the show, if you're just joining us for the first time, the last episode of every month, not the case this December, so I'm on like 3 lies in a row right now, I believe. Yeah. But one pod every month, we do a collaborative draft. We've been having a lot of fun with it. And this month, of course, since it is December, we are doing Christmas movies, which is very exciting. We're going to try and rank the 13 best Christmas movies. We do have 2 incredible guests joining us for a 4-person draft. We've got Tyler, we've got Matt from Ben's other podcast, Unsung Gems. First off, how are you guys doing? And second off, can you tell me a little bit about Unsung Gems? Matt, can you tell me what the pod is?
Well, it's great to be here. First of all, it's that time of year. It was an easy sell to get us onto the pod. Ben basically, he said
Speak
Christmas
for yourself.
pod.
Our
and,
agents were going back and forth for a minute.
and we were basically pleading with them to pull us on.
Yeah, please.
Unsung Gems, it's that movie that you love, that you feel is just underappreciated by the masses and by everybody, whether they don't appreciate it or they just haven't seen it. But it's like one of your favorite movies. And so it was a segment on our old podcast, 3 Films and a Podcast, and it became the most popular segment. And so we decided, you know what, let's go all in on Unsung Gems. Come and talk about your movie, come advocate it for us, and let us decide whether it is an unsung gem or not.
Yeah.
And interestingly enough, the segment, the whole segment was kicked off by a Christmas movie, and I won't spoil which one yet or who picked it and who started it, this whole thing. But the whole Unsung Gems idea started with a Christmas movie, and I bet it'll get talked about at some point.
Without a doubt.
Oh, we could only be so lucky.
I was going to say, speaking of Unsung Gems, this is definitely the draft in which it's the most determined by personal preference, I feel like. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of Unsung Gems we talk about. And speaking of new podcasts, we have some pretty big news to share here on the pod. And Tyler, Matt, I'm glad you guys could join us for the very first reveal of this news. We do have a new podcast coming out in 2024. In January, we're going to be releasing a new show, and it's really because we like doing movie drafts so much. We've had a lot of fun doing these the past few months. We've done Christopher Nolan, we've done Martin Scorsese, we did musicals, and now we're doing Christmas. And we were like, you know what? We want to talk about drafts more often. So we are going to, Ben and myself, and another person, we'll kind of keep that under wraps for now, I think, are going to have a new podcast in mid-January. I believe January 16th is going to be the very first episode. It's going to be called the Movie Draft Podcast. Very simple, very self-explanatory. Every week, every single Tuesday, new episodes are going to come out. We're going to be talking about different categories, different games, different drafts. We're going to kick it off with a 2023 movie draft, maybe a little auction draft for some future movies gets thrown in there. Yeah. We've got some really fun actors, directors, years that we're going to start tackling. I'm very, very excited, and I'm greatly looking forward to this pod. Ben, are you excited to do this every week?
I just want to clarify, we workshopped the title for months. Like, we outsourced it to a think tank. It was like, in the process, what's the best name for this podcast? And they're like, what about just the Movie Draft Podcast? Like, perfect. I love it.
You can imagine my shock.
Complicated.
Yeah.
You can imagine my shock, because I was under the impression that Ben was done having podcasts. And I had actually even driven him to the appointment to hopefully ensure that he wouldn't have any more podcasts. And here we are.
It didn't take. Didn't take, unfortunately. Every once in a while, it's a small statistic, but there's a few of us where it just doesn't
sloppy
take.
job.
So, unfortunately.
Tough beat, boys. Tough
That's
beat.
That's what we get.
Yes. So the first episode of the Movie Draft podcast is going to drop on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts on Tuesday, January 16th. Like I said, we're going to have weekly. Yeah, clear your calendars. Get ready. Weekly episodes every single Tuesday. Follow us on Twitter. We are at Draft Movie Pod. And then anywhere else, Instagram, Threads, what have you, we are at Movie Draft Pod. So not confusing at all and super easy to follow. I'm excited. I can't wait. I think it's going to be a really, really fun time. But before we do all of those drafts, we have a draft right here, right now that we have to try to do. I'm a little nervous, but I'm also pretty excited because I'm kind of going into this with a little bit different strategy. We'll talk about that in a minute. Tyler, I'll start with you. Are you a big Christmas movie guy? How do you come into this draft?
I like Christmas movies, but it's not like I'm not like rolling out putting the stockings on the fucking chimney and putting up the tree and firing up Christmas movies from December 1st or
the day after Halloween.
Like I'm currently in Florida staying with my sister-in-law and her family. And they got 3 kids. They've been playing Christmas movies since the day after Halloween.
Yeah.
Like normal.
So I'm not quite that level. You know what I mean? But like I do like Christmas movies, and it's like part of my family tradition to like we would watch a handful of Christmas movies over a single night, sometime around Christmas. So it's not like I'm crazy about them, but I do enjoy them. And I think it's mainly just because of like, the family tradition thing. And I do have a handful of favorites that, I'm going to do my best to get onto this list here. But so it's not like, I don't love them or hate them. I'm like slightly above neutral on them.
Nice.
Okay. Matt, you've come dressed for the pod. Watchers of YouTube will have seen this, or if you're watching on Spotify, you might see Matt's lovely attire. I take it you're a bit above neutral.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that, and I'm glad I'm here to announce this. But I'm actually also starting my own podcast, Mr. Christmas Movie, where I just review. It is just all baby. Christmas movies. Yeah,
I would love that so much.
No, you better trademark that fast because somebody's gonna snatch
Someone's gonna hear this, and they're gonna
your
buy
monthly
the domain.
Christmas with the Cranks review. It's like, all right, it's the second week of April. It's time to get back to
it. Different in April, yeah, different. Dan Aykroyd. I do have an affinity towards Christmas movie. I, like most normal American families, begin Christmas the day after Halloween. And it's been Christmas season for a while. And I have my I don't know. I think we'll go into strategy in a little bit, but I've got my list of my favorite Christmas movies that typically I get to every year. So it's a good time.
Ben,
nice.
where are you out? Round us out so we know how we're all feeling.
I mean, I'm a fan. We'll talk about it in a sec, but I kind of like those that ride the line of like, is it a Christmas movie just because it takes place at Christmas or whatever? I'm really excited to talk about those kind of movies. I think those are fun to find, the ones that aren't like outright Christmas, like Hallmark movies or whatever, but just like, well, the setting is this, so does it qualify? I think it's gonna be fun to get into those.
Can we talk about that for a second? Can we discuss?
Do it.
Because I do feel like this is a key part of the draft, and this kind of goes hand in hand with strategy. Of course, this is going to be a lot of personal preference picks, maybe trying to slide some stuff under the radar, like you mentioned. So, where do we stand as a group here going into this collaborative draft on what constitutes a Christmas movie? Of course, we have the famed conversation of Die Hard, right? Which has kind of been claimed as an official Christmas movie. But I'm more curious about movies like House of Gucci. We just covered House of Gucci on our Patreon a couple of weeks ago. There is a Christmas scene in this movie. There is an exchange of presents. There is snow. There is a Christmas song. What of those elements?
Get it out of here.
What of those elements determines if it's a Christmas movie?
I've never seen it. Not a Christmas movie.
Tyler, you say none of those things are good.
To me, whether or not it's a Christmas movie is the same concept as Santa Claus himself. Like, it's all about belief. It's how do you feel Do you want there to be a Santa Claus? Do you want there to be magic in the world? Do you want Die Hard to be a Christmas movie? Great. If it's like, let's say for some reason you watch Lethal Weapon every year on Christmas, then that's a Christmas movie for you. And doesn't Lethal Weapon does that have Christmas in it?
Yeah,
I don't know.
it's Shane Black. So that's
it's Christmas.
Stuff.
Oh, that's right, the Shane Black
classic
thing.
Shane Black.
So bad example. But let's say like I'm blank. Like I'm on a movie podcast and I can't think of a movie. Let's say Rashomon. You watch that every year at Christmas. Some people watch The Lord of the Rings over Christmas every year. Maybe that's a Christmas movie to you. Do you want magic in the world, and do you believe in Santa Claus? It's faith, it's belief, it's what do you want it to be? And so that's why I think like a movie like Die Hard, we as a collective, the royal we have decided that Die Hard, we have forced it into the Christmas pantheon. And so it's a Christmas movie. Great. We believe in Die Hard. So that's kind of how I feel about it. And anything can be a Christmas movie if you want it to be. If you sing loud enough, right?
Isn't
that what the movie tells us?
That is not good for this draft. I'm just going to be quite frank with you, Tyler. That is not the direction that I was hoping for. Matt,
I will be vetoing Rashomon fairly early.
So is that how we want to do things, Matt? Do we just want to rely on the action of a veto in case a personal preference Christmas film doesn't necessarily fill all the buttons?
My veto, whatever my veto outlook is, it's going to be completely personal. I will veto something I don't like, straight up. Yeah, absolutely.
Very clear and concise strategy. I just respect that.
I think it, like, whether or not it's a Christmas movie can fall to majority vote, since we will have 3 people that will be voting on the movie. I don't think we need to like throw out vetoes, just be like, that's not a Christmas movie veto. I think we can like, bring up maybe an issue like, I don't know if that qualifies. Let's take it to a vote and let's see. And then,
so how many qualify as a Christmas movie amongst us before it qualifies for a veto?
I think
does it go quibble then veto? Like,
if we're quibbling more than once each, we're not doing this right. This is going to be chaos. So let's say one, but we'll see. I just feel like, I think there's the scene like in Catch Me If You Can where like he runs home and his family is having Christmas, but that's it in the whole movie. And it's like, I don't think that's a Christmas movie. I think it's a Christmas scene in a regular movie.
And then you have
interesting.
You have that Jonathan Taylor Thomas I'll Be Home for Christmas. That's technically a Christmas movie, but we're not going to consider it a Christmas movie.
No, it's not good at all. So I feel like if we want to quibble, that we can. If it passes as a Christmas movie, then someone can veto it if they want for that reason.
Okay, that's fair. I'll accept that. Let's with that energy and with that decision, I think we should dive into the draft. And I think we should kind of kick this off and see where our quibbles and vetoes and suggestions and nominations lead us in this path to 13. This glorious path here. Ben, will you explain the rules of the draft for returning listeners and newfound listeners alike?
I'll do my best. We're going to have 4 draft positions. We're going to be drafting 13 movies in total. And all of the 4 positions come with different blessings and different picks. If you are drafter D, you're going to pick movies 13, 12, 8, and 4. You get the most movies out of the whole draft. And so because of that, you just get 1 veto. That's it. If you are drafter C, you pick spots 11, 7, and 3. You get a veto, but you also get a veto override, which you can use to help someone else. You cannot use it on your own pick. So if I play Christmas with the Cranks at number 3 and Tyler doesn't like it and wants to veto it, I can't save my own movie with the override. Someone else would have to have it. I had to help someone else.
Promise you, if that scenario happens, I am vetoing Christmas with the Cranks at number 3.
All right, we've sussed him out, Matt. We sussed him out.
No offense.
I mean, I'm with you.
I'm not saying it can't be on the list. It's just not number 3.
Yeah. If you are drafter,
not my Santa Claus.
If you're drafter B, you get picks 10, 6, and 2 with 1 veto. And if you're drafter A, you get picks 9, 5, and 1 with 2 vetoes. You're the only person that will have 2 vetoes. And yeah, so that's what we've got. We got drafter A, B, C, and D. We're going to be working together to do this, but also a little competitively, as we've already discussed. I will say, I mean, this is the first draft I've done with where I knew everybody. Like all the drafts we've done, we've had a stranger. So I've been like, I don't care. I'll veto their stuff. Like they're nice, but I don't like know them. This is the first time where it's like I know and love everyone that I'm doing this with, and I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna turn into once we start this. Like, I don't know if I'm gonna be like, no, I mean, I can't do this. I've known him for 20 years. Like, no, I don't fucking care.
Are you more Jack Skellington or more Oogie Boogie Man? Is what you're saying.
That's what I can't tell. Yeah, I don't know, but
he's basically posturing to veto one of my near and dear favorite Christmas movies.
100%.
Yes, as long as I'm glad you picked up on that. I was worried it was too subtle. So. Yeah. All right. Should we get to the order to see what people want to pick?
Let's do it. Okay. We're gonna spin the wheel here on an equal shot at any draft position.
Yes, I put everyone in alphabetically. Well, let's see what happens. So whoever goes first gets to pick which drafter they want to be, and it looks like it's going to be Matt.
Oh wow!
All right.
I'm taking
D,
Matt,
baby. Think about what you want to do.
I'm insisting on having 4 picks in this draft.
You're taking D? Okay.
Okay. Matt's
if you want to still think about it, you can. But if you want to stick with D, that's cool.
I'm going D all the way.
D.
Taking D to the
lead us off correctly.
Oh, boy.
Oh, no. Damn. Okay.
Oh, yes. Okay. Great. The wheel has landed on me. I do need some thinking time, so please spin the wheel again so we can figure out how to do this.
Me or Tyler?
Please, I don't want to have to choose. Like, God damn it.
I was hoping I was last, so I didn't have to choose.
Okay.
It's too hard.
Okay, so
so I just get whatever's left. Unless Tyler wants to swap me, I'm happy to pick something, but whatever.
No, we're not starting with under the table deals. We haven't even locked in the draft positions.
What if I want to defer? Is that within my rights? Can I defer?
Follow your heart.
There's a football game on. It's football season.
Yeah, it's true.
How about
I guess whatever amount of magic you want to bring to the pod, whatever you want to do. Okay, so I get to pick. I am indeed going to pick 11, 7, and 3. So I'm going to be drafter C, which I believe I was last time and the time before that as well. So I get a veto and a veto override. Matt, you mentioned you want to be drafter D. You're going to get picks 13, 12, 8, and 4. You'll have 1 veto. Tyler, do you want to be drafter A or B?
So the real question is like, I want those 2 vetoes, but I do not want the pressure of having the number 1 pick.
Exactly.
But you know what?
Trade-off.
Gift and a curse.
I'm doing drafter A. I want those 2 vetoes.
Okay.
I like it.
Not to tip my hand at my strategy here.
Just going to town on everybody.
I'll even use them.
Okay, Ben, that means that you're gonna be drafter B. You're gonna have picks 10, 6, and 2 with 1 veto. Okay, this is interesting. Let's dive into this. Let's get after it. So Matt, I think this is fascinating because Ben generally in the past has gotten the D spot. He's gotten 13 and 12 and has managed to finagle some personal preferences on the list and kind of played on the coyness of people's veto power early. So I'm interested to see what you're going to do. You have back-to-back picks. Why don't you kick us off?
Okay. 13. Jeez. Why don't we throw up let's throw up Ron Howard's How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
Ooh,
with Jim Carrey?
Jim Carrey?
Jim Carrey.
Okay.
Wow, number 13.
Like that.
The live action.
On my list, I wrote down How the Grinch Stole Christmas. Either one. I was like, either one's fine to be on this list. So
okay,
I think actually 13's appropriate for that. I think the animated has enough pedigree to be a little higher on this list, but I'm glad
that's the thing too. Are we gonna double dip on the Grinch? Like, is this gonna come up later on? Because the animated one is a classic, obviously.
Well,
or is this the one Grinch? Yeah, who knows?
So here's the thing. Much like we did the Spielberg draft last month on here, how many Indiana Jones do you throw on the draft? You know what I mean? Like, how many of one thing do you need when there's available options? I have no problem with the 2000 How the Grinch Stole Christmas. I love this movie. I think it's great. I think it is honestly a great Jim Carrey performance and nominated for an Oscar for makeup and hairstyling. So an Oscar-nominated film to kick off the Christmas list, I feel like is a good spot for us as a group.
It's pretty solid.
Okay. No qualms, no quibbles, no vetoes.
Well, not veto.
Nope, no veto. Okay.
Matt, you have successly gotten your movie on the board. Congratulations. Now you get to do it again.
Okay. Well, This one is deep within the Matt vault. And it's with one of our favorite, writer directors of all time, Nora Ephron. And it's a staple in my house. I watch it every year. I have for the last 25 years. We're going 1995's Mixed Nuts.
Yes, we are.
Wow.
A film by Nora Ephron. Listen, here's what I'll say. Smart. If you want to speak about it,
I may have vetoed this at 8, but not 12.
That's
that's the thing about this collaborative draft is I would put this higher, right?
Yeah, but I was just gonna say I would veto this to move it up.
Yeah, I would have this higher, but I fear
I just don't know if it's a top 10 Christmas movie. I don't know. For me personally, I love this movie. But
you haven't watched it again. Watch it.
Wow. I have.
So I haven't seen Mixed Nuts, so I'm coming into this kind of impartial. I'm just looking at the cast list for this film.
Yeah.
Pretty insane. Like you've got Steve Martin, Rob Reiner, Adam Sandler, Liev Schreiber, Parker Posey, Jon Stewart's in this film. This is incredible. Gary Shandling? Like, how come I haven't seen this movie, Matt?
You are teeing up for the reason that the Unsung Gems podcast exists. This movie was the genesis of the Unsung Gems category on 3 Films and a Podcast.
Yeah.
Thanks to Mr. Matthew Weiler. This is his Unsung Gem. This is the Unsung Gem.
It's the quintessential Unsung Gem. This is it.
And I cannot
believe I was being too harsh. I think 8 would have been okay. I just want to use my vetoes,
I just wanted it on there. I wanted it safely on there.
That's where I'm at though. That's why I like to pick the bottom, because people usually probably won't veto it. If I get it on here, like I can sneak on something I'm not sure if they're gonna like somewhere else. But Rita Wilson, Parker Posey, Juliette Lewis,
Madeline Kahn,
like, yeah, I mean, it's so good. I'm glad to see it here. It needs to be on the list. So like I said, I would only veto it to move it higher, but I'm just glad that it's here.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, a collaborative in spirit you were, Matt. Very impressive.
Did it.
I was hoping, quite honestly, that it would take you longer to do 13 and 12 because now it is my turn. I don't feel good about it. And quite honestly, based on our conversation, I feel like I'm going to start to get singled out here, and I'm going to get torn apart by the pack of Christmas hyenas. So I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to put it out there and open the conversation because I feel like this is the place to do it when we're at number 11. And I feel like it's a conversation that needs to be had. So first I will pose, and I'm pretty sure I know the answer to this, but I would hate myself if I didn't pose it on the pod. Where are we at on Oppenheimer as a Christmas movie?
No.
Get the fuck out of here. Get out of here.
Insane.
Both details Christmas? Immediately.
Yeah. What are you talking about?
They're at a Christmas party.
Because it's a 3-hour movie over the span of 30 years. Of course there's a Christmas scene in it.
There's no Hans Gruber. It's not my Christmas party.
This is what we're going to do, Ethan. We're going to export this video. We're going to edit this part out. Okay.
Cut. Erase.
We're going to pretend this wasn't in here.
Okay. So we don't feel good about Oppenheimer. That's okay. I figured that was the question. Now, let me pose a much more realistic, in my opinion, option. Just so I can know that they're off the table. Okay. I just need to know that they can't be on the list. Maybe they can. That's why I'm asking. So how about Goodfellas? There's a Christmas scene. There's Christmas lights. There's a Christmas song. They're in the bar during Christmas time. They recognize that it's Christmas.
How hard do you want people's eyes to roll to the back of their head when they see this list?
We're blinding all of our listeners right now.
Out of your mind with these takes, Ethan. I love you, but come on.
Okay, good. It's out in the world, and I feel okay about it. And we've landed exactly where I thought we would. I guess my Christmas my Christmas draft list might appear differently than yours, and that's okay. I live with that.
I saw your top 4 on Letterboxd. Yeah.
I stand by that take. Oppenheimer is a Christmas film. I stand by that.
I love the irony of me preaching about like the spirit of Christmas and what like
get the fuck out of here. You're like, well, it's whatever you want it to be. God. All right. Okay. Time to get serious. I've vamped for long enough. Number 11. Okay. So that in my perfect draft, those were my 13 and 12 spots. So I guess I've got to figure my draft here just a little bit.
Yeah, back to the drawing board. Yeah.
Number 11. Okay, I feel pretty good about this. I think 11 is the spot for this, and I'm going to nominate Edward Scissorhands. This is a quintessential, a secondary Tim Burton Christmas film, much like The Nightmare Before Christmas. It is a core text of Christmas time, at least in my house as well. And it plays on the fact that it is Christmas time and uses that much to the narrative of the film. I would have assumed that this is like good to go, but based on your guys' looks, I feel like we're in a third quandary here.
I'm just realizing how long it's been since I've seen this movie, and I want to quibble with you so bad, but I'm like, I can't. And I did see this on lists as I was looking around earlier. So I'll let you get away with it.
Well, on a scale of 1 to 10, like how important is this movie to your family's Christmas canon?
To my family's personal Christmas canon, it's probably like an 8. It is my wife's
that high?
Yeah, it is my wife's favorite movie of all time. Okay. So the fact that it's a Christmas movie, it rings very true to my family's Christmas traditions.
Okay, I will not use my veto, and you will not play the wife card again.
Never again.
For
me, it's like
I love when Matt means business. It's my favorite.
I got scared a little bit there for a second. I didn't know how to respond.
For my thought process is like there are 3 pretty notorious Tim Burton Christmas movies, and this is number 3 on like where I would rank it. So that's why I'm just surprised this is the one that gets played. And I'm curious if the other 2 are going to show up on here. Like, is the 4th of our list going to be Tim Burton projects? Like, it might be, but that's where I'm just like, man, is this the one that we want to put on here? Like, are the other ones going to make it? I don't know.
Look, I have no problem being a little bit more collaborative about this. Wife card aside, like, do we want to go with Batman Returns? Is that where we feel is a more appropriate 11?
It's your pick. You got to pick what you want.
I want to go collaborative though, Ben. I want to work together.
Well,
I don't want to be very collaborative when you picked. You didn't sound very collaborative when you picked Edward Scissorhands.
Yeah, or tried to throw out Oppenheimer.
I feel good about it. I feel good about Edward Scissorhands.
Are we quibbling? Are we quibbling right now?
No, we're just
we have some doubts about its place.
Mom and Dad, are you fighting? Like, no, we're having a discussion. We're not
fighting. If it's an official quibble, then that might change how I feel about things. But
I think it's important for our list to encapsulate some of the ones on the broader edge of what might be considered socially acceptable for Christmas, and that's why I shot my shot with Goodfellas and Oppenheimer, and I was shot down. And so I got a little closer to the rung of Christmas time, and this is where I feel like I land.
For me, here's my issue with it, and it can stand if like the other 2 agree. That's totally fine. But when I think about Edward Scissorhands, Christmas does not come to mind at all. But if I think about Batman Returns, or if I think about Nightmare Before Christmas, Christmas is like at least the setting, whatever comes up. With this, I'm kind of with Tyler, and like I've seen it fairly recently. Like I know there's a Christmas tie-in, but it's like, is it? Like it is. I know it's on lists and stuff, but it's
sold.
It's a
veto. I'm vetoing.
Oh shit!
Veto.
Okay.
Wow.
I
wrote it in the list. I wrote it in the notes.
I don't think it's Christmas at all. But again, I haven't seen the movie in years.
That's okay.
But if it was a Christmas movie, I feel like it would have stuck as a Christmas movie over those years. So then you convinced me. Veto. Official.
I love it.
Wow. Okay. I cannot believe you guys I came to you, I bent the knee, and I was like, let's be collaborative. And then you all ganged up on me. You're like, fuck you, I'm going to veto this.
No,
apologies.
I begrudgingly hugged you over it, you know?
Yeah, sure,
I gave
of
you
course. The side
hug? You kiss the ring.
I gave you the side hug.
Blame your podcast partner. I was going to let it go until he so eloquently convinced me otherwise.
Okay,
sorry,
so
Molly.
In that, yeah, you're going to have some penance to pay for that one. Yeah. So in the spirit of that, I will be then nominating Batman Returns. I think that it is a more interesting Christmas movie to me, like on this list, than Nightmare Before Christmas. Of course, it is like Nightmare Before Christmas is quintessential, but like again, I want to spice things up a little bit. I want to add a little bit of Christmas fun, Christmas intrigue, and I think Batman Returns is the movie to do it. So in staying with the Tim Burton theme, that's what I'm going to nominate now.
I love it.
No quibble.
I mean, I'm not going to veto it. I think it's a great pick. Like I said, there was 3 Tim Burton Christmas movies. This one to me is number 2. I think it's got to be on there. I'm okay with being on there.
You're good. Tyler's good. Matt, are you okay with this pick? I don't like how long it's taking you to decide.
I love this.
Man, I don't like a double veto at 11.
I'm not trying.
I don't love this pick. I don't love it. I'm not going to quibble that
it's like this is why I wanted 2 vetoes.
Yeah, I'm not going to quibble with it because, I get the arguments for it being a Christmas movie. This would be like maybe number, 20 on my list.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we're sitting at number 11 on a collaborative list. Like, do I want this thing stinking up my list?
Look, I'm gonna be real honest with you. If we're gonna have super duper honesty time, let's do it. Because if you veto this, my personal list, then becomes quite conventionally Christmas. So I would just put that out there. If you're looking to move this list in that direction, now's your opportunity. But you only have 1 veto. I'm just gonna warn you.
Okay.
Sounds like a threat.
Yeah, it did
Come
feel like
to the bear trap, Matt. Come to the bear trap. A little closer.
So I'm coming to the table. So your idea of diversifying our list was to put in an unfingered Johnny Depp, Edward Scissorhands, and a Batman movie.
Yeah. After pitching naked Cillian Murphy, and Joe Pesci.
This is not diversity.
Yeah.
But my not.
We're vetoing it.
Oh my god! What is happening?
Double veto at 11.
Give me something to work with, Ethan.
I thought I was going to come into this draft, and I thought we were just going to be like, diversity. Cool, 13 movies. That was pretty easy.
No.
Yeah, one more Tim Burton you can nominate. Let's make it happen.
Wow. Okay, well, I mean, kind of fuck you. I don't want to nominate Tim Burton.
Just veto it no matter what.
What are we doing? Okay, so
It's a Wonderful Life. Veto. Get rid of this shit. I don't want this on my list.
Well, we should veto that because it should be higher, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Oh, come on, guys. Okay, well, let me delete the notes again. And
maybe stop putting it in before it's locked in. I think you're jinxing yourself.
Okay, so now I really have to come in with the idea of like what do I need on this list versus what do you guys think needs to be like pretty high on this list, and maybe some classical standards. I feel like that would be too low for that movie. I'm gonna go with the Polar Express for number 11. Now here's why. I personally have it in much higher. I adore this film, but I understand the general consensus in the Zemeckis filmography, also in the world of animation, is that this movie is kind of horseshit. And I get that. Not to me, but I get it for other people. So I feel like if I played it higher, you guys might chop me at the knees, and I feel good about 11, but also nobody's interrupted me yet, so I feel apprehensive about, again, what is happening.
I just feel protective of my 1 veto, and as horrible as I think this movie
Polar
is.
Express. What more do you want?
Not Uncanny Valley movies on my list. That's what I want. Like this, it looks insane. It is crazy, but I can't deny that it's the most Christmas movie you've nominated. If it's out of the top 10, then that's fine. So for me, I'll let it ride because it's not in the top 10. It's not The Terminal at 6 like Beth Ann tried to play.
I am speechless. I'm speechless. Am I like, I'm on an island here, like a societal island of like, hey, the Polar Express is a great Christmas movie?
Stop victimizing yourself over this.
Okay, look, Regal puts this in movie theaters for Christmas time. I go every year with my children. That's a Christmas movie.
I know it's a Christmas movie. I've never seen it, so I can't quibble.
So yeah, I don't know. It's
a lot of Hanks in that movie, but look,
a lot of Hanks.
I obviously can't do anything about it. I'm not going to argue with it. I think it was a collective win getting, Tim Burton off this list. This is a top 13 list. This is supposed to be a Christmas show.
Right?
Yeah. Where's the holly jolly good nature? Gone.
So hopefully we're getting there, right?
I'm just shocked, quite frankly. I'm just a little. I came to the table in good faith, that you guys we would work together, and you know what? Here we are. That's okay. 10, Ben, just take the reins. We're working
together against you.
Yeah, I know.
That's what happens when you bring us in.
Oh, I really put all of us in a position here, haven't I? Okay.
3 Films and Podcast saves Christmas for me.
It's the title of the episode.
The ultimate crossover pod.
Yeah.
So my selection here is both like a movie that is, I think, a great Christmas time watch, while maybe not like about an elf or Santa or something, but also like has the spirit of Christmas in it, and it tells a story of someone like being accepted by a family, and that's done very poetically and wonderfully through a Christmas gift. And so I'm going to be going with Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, because when he gets that sweater, like I still to this day will say Happy Christmas, Harry, Happy Christmas, Ron. Like I know it's not like Christmas, but it plays such a big part of Harry being accepted and finally having a family that loves him and takes care of him and cares for him. We get great shots with Hagrid bringing in the Christmas tree. The scenery is beautiful. The way they make Hogwarts look at Christmas time. I get, if you guys want to quibble that this isn't like Santa Christmas, that's fine. But to me, this is a Christmas time movie. This is a Christmas movie. I feel like 10 is a good spot for it to be at. I don't know that it needs to be much higher, but to me, I think about Christmas when I think about this movie.
I mean, it's directed by Chris Columbus, who's the father of the modern day Christmas movie, right?
His name is in Christmas, you know? What are you gonna do?
And yeah.
This is so annoying. You realize how frustrating this is?
Why?
Because you come to the table, because that's like, everybody is like, oh, it's Halloween time to put on Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. Oh, it's Christmas time to put on Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. And
sorry, it has range.
You
sorry,
get
it
away
has
with
range.
it.
Call up the sicko that's watching Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone around Halloween time. This is a Christmas
You have
film.
a veto at your disposal.
I'm not going to fucking veto Harry Potter. I'm not a psychopath. Come on. It's on my list, too. The fact that you can bring this to the table and everybody's like, yeah, great pick, Ben. That's ridiculous, people.
I'm sorry that there's no naked Florence Pugh in this movie, but I think it should be on the list.
Okay? Thank you. Merry Christmas, Alfred. No.
No, not at all. Happy Christmas,
Florence
Ron.
Pugh is in this movie.
God, you know, I try to be a good guy on here. This is what I get. This is what I get. Okay, we're all in agreement. We're all happy with that. Unconventional pick.
I love it.
Good.
A wonderful number 10.
I feel good about it too. I really do. Let's turn this boat around, Tyler. Let's get moving in the right Christmas direction here. You're pick number 9.
All right. So, look, I personally would have this movie much higher, but since my next picks are 1 and 5, and the thing is, this movie might get picked by someone else. So, I'm actually going to go against my original strategy.
Oh.
Although I have 4 movies that I really want on this list, but I only have 3 spots. I feel like 9. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna put Bad Santa at number 9.
Okay.
All right. I think that's fair. Santa is in the title. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
I think that's a great pick. I think that's a
Billy Bob.
I think
okay.
If we're going unconventional, it's just inside the top 10.
But we're not going unconventional. That's the thing. We all collectively decided we are going conventional.
I feel like first picks being unconventional is great. I think it's fantastic.
Okay.
Just not Edward Scissorhands unconventional.
Look, Tyler, I'm for the sake of diversity and spicing things up, I am going to veto your pick. Here's 2 reasons. Number
Billy
1,
Bob.
I haven't seen Bad Santa. I know this is on like every list out there, and I'm sure it's a pretty funny movie. I haven't seen it, so I can't in good faith put out a list where this is number 9 and where I'm like, yeah, that should be on the list for sure. Number 2, I will still have a veto override after this, and I feel pretty good about that. And I hope to put you in a pickle. So I'm sorry, but let's try again.
Listen, you vetoing movies you haven't seen is the reason I'm wearing my Purple Rain shirt again tonight, because it is insane to me that you guys vetoed that off musicals just because you hadn't seen it. I'm sorry you haven't experienced one of the greatest musicals ever.
If I haven't seen it,
ridiculous.
You know, come on.
Ridiculous.
Okay. No, I'm fine with that veto because again, the movie that I want to pick, I personally feel like it should be higher, and I do feel like someone else may pick it. So I'm kind of rolling the dice that it's going to end up on there. And then I have two others that I'm like, I feel are locks for the top 5 Christmas movies. So I'm fine with you vetoing Bad Santa. I will remember this. And I do agree that it's like maybe not the most traditional Christmas, but it's like, let's pretend that we had to actually watch this list of 13 movies. I think you might appreciate having a little bit of variety and a little bit of like,
Don't put the variety card on me, Tyler. I was the one who tried to bring variety to this draft.
I invented variety.
Yeah, I invented variety.
You're just, look, not all of us have spent the last 2 months of our lives watching Oppenheimer on repeat. We're not all living in Oppenheimer's world, So like you're trying to bring your
but
world.
We are.
Into
That's
Christmas
the problem.
here.
We are.
All right. So number 9. Let's. Now, you know what? I'm just going to take the one I want. Let's put the Santa Claus here at number 9. Your boy Tim Allen. I personally think it should go higher, and I'm confident probably one of you would have taken it at some point, but I want to make sure it's on here. Santa Claus, one of my personal favorites at number 9. Krumholtz, dude. There's Oppenheimer.
Nice sweater,
we
Neil.
did it.
Yeah, we did it.
Yes. We got Oppenheimer in here somehow.
Sweater, Neil.
Made it work. I love that pick. Yeah, I think it's a solid choice. I think it's one of the better.
I'm glad it's on there.
Recent Christmas movies for sure.
I personally, I definitely would have put it much higher. That is like when I watch the Santa Claus, that's when Christmas kicks off, and I feel really good about that. But I am glad that it's on the list somewhere.
I'm a little worried that there's another Tim Allen Christmas movie that's going to show up here, and how high it's going to show up.
Why do you think I chose 2 vetoes?
Okay, good call. Good call.
Okay, Matt, you now have pick number 8. This could be a good time to maybe play that other Tim Allen movie. I've got the pick after you. Yeah, if you want to get real collaborative.
Believe you me, it's been on my mind. Yeah, I mean, so I've got a handful of picks that I could do with my last 2 picks. I'm not in the top 3 Christmas movies, so I'm really trusting that people are going to do the right thing with their picks. Be responsible with them that high up.
It's a summertime movie. That's not a Christmas movie.
Do the right thing.
On theme, please. Come on.
But there's a Christmas movie that I happen to like that has not 1 but 2 like comedy legends in it. It's got a great Christmas vibe. It's got Jamie Lee Curtis in a holiday vest. And there's not another Christmas movie that has that. There's not another Christmas movie on the planet that has that. So you give me Jamie Lee Curtis, the Hickory Honey Ham. I'm going to go with Christmas the Cranks at number 8. And we're locking that baby into our Christmas list.
And what do we do here?
It's incredible. I love this, Matt. It's
2v2 here, unfortunately.
Oh, wow.
And they've already played their cards here where Ethan's like, I'll play it next if they veto you. Which means the veto would just go to waste.
You wanted an 8 or 7. It's up to you.
I still have a veto. I still have a second veto, but that just means we're pushing it higher on the list.
Well, exactly.
Are
That's
they
what I'm
willing
saying.
to take it over some of the larger classics?
I don't put it past Ethan to play this at number 3. Like, we could veto the next 2 spots between us, but I do not put it past him to play this at number 3. So in my mind, let's get it as low as possible because I feel like it's going to end up here inevitably.
So I also have a veto override. So like if for some weird reason I wanted it at 8, and
then we just lose a veto for nothing, which is insane. Follow your heart, but I feel like all we'd be doing is moving it higher, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'll let it stick.
Okay, so no veto being played. Is that correct?
Not from me.
Okay. Tyler, I'm going to need a verbal confirmation.
Tyler's veto can only be symbolic because, you'd like to symbolically veto it.
Now, I actually don't really feel that strongly about it, but I do think like in my opinion, there's no way it's a top 8 Christmas movie for me.
Yeah.
For me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Tough being you.
So it's like, I'm not going to take that from you. You know what I mean? I already took so much from you on this draft already, Ethan. I can't take away Crank.
Yeah.
We crush his Christmas spirit.
Yeah, you did.
Can't do that.
Ben, you kind of mentioned it's a little 2v2 action here. Matt and I definitely like the Christmas with the Cranks heads. Is that what we're called? Cranks heads? That doesn't feel right.
You guys are cranking it.
Cranking it
all the time. Look, I adore Christmas with the Cranks, and the word camp like gets thrown around a lot now, especially with May December being out and people completely like missing the tonal point of that film and calling it camp. But this is a movie that I think you can actually kind of put under the umbrella of camp, and that is why I like it so much. I mean, I think probably like very, very, very frequently I whip out the line of like, oh, as a matter of fact, it is a man that I work for. When people ask me like what I do for my work, that is just all-time great comedy in my eyes. I think this movie's great. Totally atrocious CGI Cat and CGI Tim Allen, honestly. But
can I ask what your success rate is on that joke? Like how many people are like, hey, it's like the Cranks?
Got from this call.
That's how you find like your best friends is like anyone who gets that reference.
No
way.
Like, yo, no way. Wow.
You're a crankhead. You crank it.
Look, I will say, I watch this all the time, and the ending still gets me. I think it 100%. Is extremely obtuse and really unbelievable, but it works, and I'm
right there with you. I cranks all December long. And I was thrilled to hear that you
all month,
too.
Right?
you guys go ahead and crank it all the way till New Year's. We'll finish the rest of this list.
Okay, so Christmas with the Cranks is going to be sitting at number 8. I definitely would have put it much higher, but can
we swap that with Mixed Nuts? You guys are going to collaborate to get this on the list. Let's just swap it with Mixed Nuts.
I would have happily put this at 12. I just wasn't convinced that Tyler wasn't going to just veto Mixed Nuts out of this list.
I would never veto a movie I haven't seen, so Mixed Nuts has to stay on the list.
Yeah, right.
So that brings me to my number 7. I feel like we're getting a little bit more studious in what we should be picking. So I'm going to pick a movie that I feel is the better of really the 1 and 2 that are the options here. But
don't do this.
Don't do this. Don't do this. Like play it higher or what?
No, just go. Just go. This is insane.
Okay, I'm going to play Home Alone 2 Lost in New York. I think this movie's fantastic.
It is not the better movie. This is insane. That is insane to say that.
Are you kidding me? He's in New York, Ben. How is it not the better movie?
So now,
it's just not.
Don't be a hipster about New York, Ethan. We all know.
Crazy.
Hey, I've been on this train for a long time. Okay.
Okay, so now we're gonna have both Home Alones on this list. So
are we? I don't know.
20% of the top 10 is gonna be filled with Home Alone.
Is there a problem with that though?
Home Alone 2. I love Home Alone 2, but like if we're comparing the two, you know, like one has the side story of the neighbor who has to like rekindle, you know, his relationship with his family, with his daughter specifically. Home Alone 2, what you're a 9-year-old befriending a homeless person.
Spend Christmas cheer for all the world to hear.
Oh, I should have let you have Edward Scissorhands. I want both vetoes now.
I mean, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but what it comes across to me is that you prefer the movie with Donald Trump in it. So that's, I mean, I don't know. There's one thing that Home Alone doesn't have in it, and that's Donald Trump. Home Alone 2 does.
We'll say
and
I
you
did
seem
buy
to
a
prefer
Talk Boy
that
because of this movie.
Yeah.
I cranked in good faith at number 8.
And I would have had your back had things gone awry for you, Matt, but they actually went well. And so I'm here just presenting what could be the Christmas spirit, if you will, of Christmas movies. I haven't heard the word veto out of anybody's mouth. I've heard a lot of complaining.
The 7th best Christmas movie of all time is Home Alone 2, is what you're telling me.
No, that's absurd. Well, and because you have the override and can't undo this, I'm vetoing Home Alone 2. That's insane.
Get out of here.
That is insane. If you want to drop the 2 off, that's fine. Even that's too low in my opinion.
So
Home Alone 2?
Is Home Alone 2, is that like a 13 spot? Is that acceptable? Like, would 14? That have been okay?
Yeah, sure. Off the list. I don't care where it's at, but not on this list. This is insane.
We got a bunch of Christmas heathens here on the pod. This is unbelievable.
Did you type it in the doc?
I can't just keep coming up with nominations, guys. I'm running dry here.
I think you're forgetting the word bad in there. You can't keep coming up with bad nominations. You need to come up with good nominations.
Okay, well, Ben has used his single veto.
I can't believe it.
Fascinating. Okay. Well, that was number 6 on my personal list. So
yeah, try one without Donald Trump and without Rob Schneider. And
what?
Yeah,
you can't just pull an alt-right card on me and just be like, yeah, these guys turned out bad. Come on.
Looks like I did.
Who would have known? Okay. All right. Let's figure this out.
Sorry.
Okay. It sounds like we need to do some collaborating because nobody's really picking up what I'm putting down here on this.
Well, we don't want to collaborate with the. Yeah. Let's. All right. What do you have? What you got?
With what? You don't want to collaborate with
good movies on this list.
With Proud Boys. I'm not trying to play a movie that they love on this list.
You don't want to pull the alt-right into here. You don't want to get wild.
Yeah. The 3 Films Boys, not the Proud Boys.
They're just like some of these movies that are left on my personal list are like a top 3 or like a top 5. Like I would feel bad putting them at a 7 spot. Okay, how do we feel about this? And this is totally in good faith. I'm not trying to like sway one way or another.
I don't believe you.
7's a tough spot because like it either like should be lower or should be higher. Nobody's happy with 7. I am going to nominate National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. This is not like it's not like a top 5 in my household, but it is Christmas essential. It's Christmas core to like a lot of people, and I feel like it fits the 7 spot nicely.
This is a very sensible pick. I feel almost like, should I be like, am I being duped into something? Like, this seems like a totally normal, sane pick for number 7.
This feels like Beth Ann being like, I don't know if this is too weird, but is Close Encounter one of Steven Spielberg's best 10 movies? Like, that is not weird. That is a fact. Like, it is one of his 10 best movies of all time. Christmas Vacation.
This belongs right there.
Yeah. Shitter's Full. Like, I mean, this is
great
endlessly
stuff.
Quotable movie. Like all the lights, all that shit. Like it's a wonderful pick. This is the best thing you've nominated at number 7 tonight.
This might be the best thing you nominated all night.
Oh my God.
This movie right here is the reason I wanted 2 vetoes. Not that I don't want it on this list, because I need this way higher than 7.
Okay.
And if I have the power to do so, I'm moving it up.
Okay.
I agree. This movie needs to be on this list, but for me, it's higher than 7.
Dang, I like it.
Because of that, I am willing to let you possibly get Home Alone 2 higher in this draft to make sure that this doesn't go at number 7.
Let's not say things we regret, Tyler. Let's not put ideas in his head.
Wow.
I personally feel that it's got to go higher than 7.
Yeah.
To show my hands here, if I get the opportunity, this is going at number 1 for me.
Number 1.
God.
Okay.
We've got to stop what we're doing here. We've got to realign on what a good Christmas movie.
I would rather try to get it in 1 and have you veto it completely off than not fight for it in the first place. So I'm vetoing at 7. It's going to go higher for me, and go back to the drawing board.
Like, what the fuck do you guys want? What do you want from me? I'm trying my hardest.
That's what I want.
I want pick the movies we hate and we love. 5. You know, pick a movie we like.
Can't just pick a down the middle, totally mid Christmas movie and appease to all audiences.
Yeah.
Okay, state of the box office currently in live form. Okay, great. Well, let me uncolor that green from my personal list. I see a theme happening here where I jumped the shark on pretty much everything. Back to the drawing board at number 7, apparently. So then in that case, can I ask a rule question here?
No. Yeah, of course.
Wouldn't I technically be allowed to nominate Home Alone 2 again?
No, you can't do it on the same pick.
I cannot re-nominate for the same number.
Yeah, exactly. You could do it at 3, but you can't do it again at 7.
Do I only have one pick after this? Oh, Jesus Christ. I don't think I realized that. Oh, we're in real canoodle here.
And also your veto override went to shit because we kept vetoing.
Everybody vetoed, and now I can't veto override anything.
Wait, all the vetoes are gone, right?
All the vetoes are gone. Everything from here on out
that's
sticks.
Incredible.
Yep.
Okay,
everything sticks.
He ate the veto override.
Yep. Did we use all of our vetoes on your picks? I think we did, didn't we?
This is only my second pick, and yes, you did.
That's amazing.
This is
4 vetoes on 2 picks.
Four vetoes on 2 spots. I don't understand how we're getting to this.
You should be thrilled. You should be thrilled.
Works better for me.
Yeah.
This couldn't have worked better for me.
Can I? Oh my God, this is insane. Okay, I'm gonna nominate The Nightmare Before Christmas. I guess I want Tim Burton on this list in some fashion, way, shape, or form. I feel like this is the way to go. I don't know anymore. Genuinely, I just don't. I don't know how anybody thinks about Christmas movies at this point. So that's my pick, and it's gonna fucking be on the list because you guys used all your vetoes.
It's weak, but it'll be on there.
You should have used it in the first place. I wouldn't have vetoed.
Yeah, it's a good pick. The Danny Elfman score is fantastic. For anyone that's yelling right now, this is a Henry Selick directed movie.
Sorry, you're correct.
Tim Burton produced it. You know, we know all that, but like, yeah, the music's great. I have gone over multiple times on 3 films how important. I love this movie. It's important to me. I think it's, again, one of the best things that you've nominated tonight. So good job.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Let's move on to somebody else picking because my brain is just snow mush right now.
Are we sure we don't have one more veto?
Somewhere just hiding.
There's no bargaining that we can do here.
Okay. All right. So I'm playing this a little strategically. This is a lot lower than I want it to be. But realizing now that the number 1 pick is kind of spoken for, I was like, okay, I feel like I need to play something else at number 2 then. The thing that I thought maybe I'd be able to leave for Tyler.
Hold on.
So
hold on.
Can you not play Tyler's number 1 pick? Why don't you just do that right now?
Well, I'm going to do that at number 2.
Oh, perfect. Okay, great. We're in 11.
Hold on. Hold on.
What?
Hold
on. I will tip. I was going to come in and be the nice guy at 5, and I was going to take Christmas Vacation at number 5. I didn't realize how low the rest of you had it on your list. And in the spirit of Christmas and collaboration, I'm willing to let you know preemptively that I'm going to take it at 5. So you can take that if that helps influence your number 6, Ben.
Those are empty words, Tyler.
For such a long time.
If he doesn't do it, I'll take it at 4. Okay, we'll stop this from happening.
You know, it's going at 5.
Okay.
This is a Congress.
You don't have to worry about me.
When I
bipartisan
appreciate that,
vote here.
And I take it all to heart. There is also a second part to this pick, which is that I'm trying to play it defensively in a sense that I'm hoping the sequel doesn't get played by somebody later on, so we don't have 2 of the same series on this list.
That'd be
crazy.
Yeah, we would.
What movie is it? Die Hard and Die Hard 2? Is that what we're referencing here?
Don't spoil it, you know. This to me is like one of the best and most iconic, arguably most iconic Christmas movie of all time. Hard to say.
Mm-hmm.
Written by John Hughes, directed by Chris Columbus.
Hold on. I'm willing to go even farther in my. Wouldn't this be amazing?
No more filibustering, Tyler.
7, but in the interest of collaboration, I let it go at 6. In order to put Home Alone at 5.
Oh,
wouldn't that be funny?
That would be funny, but I'm just trying to prevent Ethan from playing this at 3.
I'm not going to.
The John Williams score, Catherine O'Hara. Obviously, I'm talking about Home Alone. It's way too low. Just let me preemptively say this. This is way too low, but I'm trying to stop him from playing Home Alone 2 at number 3. And I'm hoping by playing it now, it will be, because I think he would have the reasoning to be like, you know what, it's not even on the list yet, I'll play it at number 3. So while I think this belongs at 2 or 1, I'm playing it here to make sure it's on the list, and to hopefully not get both of these movies played, because that's just be insane. So it's maybe my favorite Christmas movie, maybe like the best, maybe the most Christmassy movie. I don't know, we have other spots to go through, but like a lot of ways these lists go, sometimes you just have to play stuff to make sure that it ends up on here. So I'm going with Home Alone at number 6.
I respect that. That's great. I'm really happy for you. Yeah. I love Home Alone. I think it's a great movie, honestly.
Arguably the best of the franchise, for sure.
I didn't say that, but it's a pretty good movie, for sure.
Pretty good.
Pretty good. Speaking of which, I believe that I was literally going to call him Kevin McAllister. Got his star fame on Hollywood. Yeah, Macaulay Culkin.
Yeah.
Which a little startling. If any of you watched the video, how like literally him and his brother are the same. Like I felt like I was just watching like Roman from Succession, just in a different face, which was crazy.
And introed by Catherine O'Hara, his mom from Home Alone. So
incredible.
There you go.
And also, it's like he didn't already have a star. Like,
yeah,
that was the shock to me.
Yeah.
Okay.
What do I know?
Tyler, you're at 5.
Vacation is the best Christmas movie of all time.
I want you to play it at number 1. Honestly.
You're the only person with 2 picks left, Tyler. So relish in that. Enjoy it. What are you? Are you gonna stick to your word, or what are we doing here?
Look, I really don't want to. I really don't want to. I want to take it at number 1. It's my all-time favorite, but I can't, in good conscience, do a collaborative draft, knowing that all of you were just so ready to take it at 7. Not were you like accepting of it at 7. You thought it was the appropriate place for it.
I stand by that take.
I don't understand, but that's okay. We can all be different. I'll let it go at number 5. I think this movie is an absolute staple for Christmas. For not just look, all 4 of you like this movie. It's a staple for all 4 of you. I'm looking at 4 squares on the screen. There's only 3 of
all 4 of you that I'm looking at, including myself.
All 4 of you on my screen, including myself. Yeah. Look, I think it should be higher. I think I'm confident that I think our friends on Twitter will agree that it should go a little higher than 5. I can accept that it's not the best Christmas movie of all time. To me, it is. I'm gonna let it go at 5. I do think it might get picked by one of you after this, but I have to make sure it's on here, and I think 5 is fair. So we'll let it go.
I'll say, just for the record, I think what you may have been picking up on from me was just a relief that Ethan nominated a sensible movie. I thought it should go higher. I have my stuff divided into like tier A, tier B, tier C.
Same.
And this is a tier A for me. This is like, could easily be top 5, probably, even higher. So I'm glad that it's on the list. I honestly would have loved for you to nominate it at number 1. I think that would have been perfect, but I'm glad it's here, top 5 at least.
I want to rescind it so bad. I'm not going to.
I wish I could veto you just to make you move it up, but unfortunately I can't.
Yeah.
Okay, Matt, you have pick number 4, and then we get into the top 3, and I have some technical questions that we need to start begging about.
I might get into some technical questions too, but just to share with Tyler's sentiment, like I think there's a number of movies on here. I feel like if we could personally reorder these, they'd be ordered very differently, right? I mean, I pulled in Cranks at 8, probably should have done that at 12, right? Mixed Nuts is my number 1, and so it happens.
You gotta play to the room, you never know.
It happens. So my technical question is, there are a number of movies that I would like to see in the top 3.
Yeah.
And ensuring that those movies, I don't know how collaborative we can be in showing our hands ahead of time.
Let's get collaborative, baby. That's what we're doing.
To find things out, because
all the vetoes are gone.
All the vetoes are gone, but like this is a collaborative list. Like we don't all want to look like idiots, right? And so if there are people who are going to choose certain movies in the top,
Are you referring to me, Matt? Is that where we're going with this?
Not necessarily. Look.
What do you? No. Explain. I want you to explain this. What 3 movies do you want to have in the top 3? Do you feel comfortable saying that? Because after this, you're done. There's nothing you can do about the draft.
I'm very confident in the movies that I have left. Okay, and I'm fairly confident they're all going to make it. My problem is that the 3 movies that I have left that I'd like on the list would be the top 3, and therefore I would not have a movie to put in the 4th spot. If that makes sense.
Interesting. That's fascinating.
Because you think that they'd be our top 3s also?
I don't know. That's the question. So like I have a movie that I could put in the top 4, but then all of a sudden, like, there's a fourth wild card movie that I don't know what's going to make into our top 4.
Mm-hmm.
So you could guarantee one of your top 3, or
you got to
take a flyer on a wild card, and then maybe one of your top 3 won't make it.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's a tough call.
Or do I just trust and just go with my last pick?
Yeah, I mean, do whatever your heart wants to go.
It's number 4. It's number 4. So, and I'm just gonna say this out loud. It's a Wonderful Life should not drop any lower than 2, in my opinion. So, Elf probably shouldn't drop lower than 2 or 3, in my opinion. So therefore, I am going to go at number 4 with Muppet Christmas Carol.
I love it.
Oh, this is no good.
I like that.
You're right. It's perfect.
We're ruined.
It's all good.
Our list is
amazing.
ruined.
Michael Caine.
Yeah, playing it so sincerely is perfect.
Oh,
you should let me have Bad Santa, again? Ethan.
That would not have solved any of these problems, Tyler. Okay,
it sounds
Matt,
like you wanted this to move up.
I agree with your sentiment, Matt, because now I'm going to kick off the top 3. Me, Ben, Tyler are going to round this out. I feel much like you that there are certain films that need to be on this list. Do I subscribe to that ideology that indeed we should collaborate and we should produce a nice list for the listeners and for the viewers and for the social media people that are going to look at the graphic?
I think you do.
Or do we ensue with some chaos? I don't know.
If I know
is this
Ethan at
simply
all,
a snapshot of this collection of people and what we like about Christmas movies? Like, is it about us or is it about the people? I guess is really what you're saying here.
I don't think Ethan's working for either.
I think I'm working for me.
I don't think he's doing the people or us.
So
of course, it would just be Oppenheimer 1 through 5, then Goodfellas,
easy, and then Goodfellas 6 through 13. So of course, Ben, I could play Home Alone 2 here, and nobody could do anything about it. I'm going to be honest with you. I legitimately thought about it. I thought that would have been hilarious.
It would have been funny.
I thought it would have been really funny just to be like, you know what, this is a good movie. Let's put it in the top 3. I am actually not that psychotic, so I'm not going to do that.
Okay.
So I do feel like Elf needs to be in this top 3 somewhere. You mentioned White Christmas, Matt, sorry, you mentioned a different movie?
No one mentioned that movie at all.
I did not mention.
So don't play it.
Let's relax. What are we going on right now?
No one talked about White Christmas.
I'm talking about White Christmas.
I'm pretty sure it was one of you guys. White Christmas, I think you committed to playing that, right?
The only Bing Crosby anything you're putting on.
Are you guys kidding me?
David
you guys
Bowie
seriously,
video.
You seriously don't like White Christmas? Is that like that's a true consensus?
Get to your point. Hey, Ethan, get to your point. Get to your point.
I'm
it wouldn't be on my top 13.
Oh, okay. Wow. I'm definitely playing White Christmas. This is I'm really sorry. I'm not doing it.
So
that
was the wild card thing that I was worried about.
I'm really sorry. White Christmas is my number 2 Christmas movie of all time. That's just like what it is.
But you know what?
I gotta have it on the list. It's perfect.
That works. You make me feel more confident in my last pick because now knowing what I know now, Muppets Christmas Carol probably wouldn't have been picked.
No, there's no way in hell that would have been picked. So we all get what we want. Don't we feel good about that?
Do we all get what we want?
I don't know. We gotta figure it out.
I've never seen White Christmas, so I can't quibble.
That's
you
that's
can
a
have
personal
it. I don't
problem.
know. Yeah.
I'm sorry that's the case. But Matt, like you mentioned, Bing Crosby is on this list, and I feel really good about it. I love White Christmas, and I think it is quintessential, and it's musical, which is just that's my thing.
Okay,
so
Ben's pick.
I love White Christmas.
Moving on.
Okay, Ben, number 2.
Die Hard.
Heavy lies the crown.
It is. What if I played the Family Stone right now? How would you guys feel about that?
I think anything goes. We did not have a Die Hard conversation this whole draft.
I mean, early before we started the draft, but we'll have to go through honorable mentions because there's a few. I'm really bummed to leave one of these off, but I have 3 left in my tier A, and obviously you can only play 2 of them. And the chaos would be fun and everything, but the movie I'm going to play, I think it is the best recent Christmas movie that we've had. I think it's pretty well known. It also has, we haven't covered really any animation. We got a little, we have the Muppets in here, which is great, but we don't have any animation in here, which is, there's a lot of good stuff. Charlie Brown Christmas, like we have all the Rankin Bass stuff, Rudolph, like we're not going to probably hit on any of that, but this movie at least has a tribute to that Rankin and Bass style of animation, which I like a lot. And I'm going to go with Elf. I just think it's a great movie. It needs to be on this list. I'm bummed to leave the thing that I want the most on here, but this would just be absurd to not have Elf on here. Like it's got to be the best, most recent Christmas thing, right? Like it's stayed with us. Absolutely. It's like a staple now, which is kind of crazy. So
without a doubt.
Yeah.
If things had shaken out differently, I was well prepared to take Elf at number one, while acknowledging that there are things that aren't on this list that could be, and we can talk about that in a minute. But I'm perfectly fine with Elf at number two. I honestly would be fine with it at number one, because I think once you get to honestly this 1, 2, 3, 4 range, it's like a neck and neck dead heat. Like White Christmas, I can't quibble. Like it's a I've heard about it. I've heard all about it. It's a classic for a reason. So it certainly deserves to be at least within the top 5, right? So it's like,
well, Ethan's going to have all those Crosby heads on his side, those Bing heads, they're going to be happy.
The old Bing head squad.
Yeah. I mean, you're totally right. Like, it is what it is, but White Christmas is a classic Christmas movie. But I think,
how did we steer back to why my pick is not right? Let's talk about your pick, Ben.
Well, I mean, my pick is perfect.
I'm saying your pick was right.
Yeah, we're complimenting your pick here.
Okay. You taught me to be defensive.
I wanted to swap this with Home Alone, but I really was worried Ethan was going to play Home Alone 2 at 3. So that's why I threw Home Alone at 6. But in my mind, there's for us, especially us coming from 3 films, we watch something that I feel might be the number one. And Home Alone was going to be number 2, but strategy came into it, unfortunately. So Elf at number 2. I'm still happy with it here, though. I think it's a great pick.
And I'll be honest, like when I think of Home Alone, like sometimes kind of forget that the whole reason he's alone is because they went away for Christmas. I just remember that he's alone protecting the house.
Yeah.
With Elf, like there's no part of me that doesn't remember that this is like a Christmas story. You know what I mean? Like he was raised by Santa Claus, for crying out loud. So it's like, I honestly, for me, I think Home Alone might be a better movie, but as far as like a Christmas movie, I'm fine with it being where it's at and below Elf. So at number 1 here, we've got a real pickle, guys. We have not played It's a Wonderful Life. I think that is like the odds-on favorite, just based on like, history. But there's also you mentioned the Rankin Bass Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I grew up on that movie. It's like quintessential Christmas classic. There's a good chance it doesn't make this list. Also, A Christmas Story. I mean,
oh wow,
there's a real argument for, in my opinion, It's a Wonderful Life and A Christmas Story. And these two are duking it out right now, and one of them's not going to make it. And I'm in a real pickle because personally I know which one I want. Although
is that what the people want, though, Tyler?
I mean, it's
I want you to play what you want.
Yeah.
Make the right decision.
All right, Bad Santa, number 1.
Oh
yes. Let's do it.
No.
That would be.
And look,
wow.
I genuinely thought about doing Die Hard just for the giggles. Because look, if we're looking for engagement, if we're looking for Twitter clicks and promoting our new podcast, putting Die Hard at the top of the list and leaving off the 3 movies I just talked about, along with what about Jingle All the Way? That should have been could have easily been talked about in the 10 to 13 range, maybe even up to like the 6 or 7, 8 range. I don't know.
The Holiday.
Goodness, fellas.
Scrooge. Talk about. Yeah.
I would have vetoed Scrooge. Not a fan.
Off 13.
Not a fan.
Also, like a more recent movie, The Night Before. That's a fun one. I don't know if it's a top 10 12.
If I had Matt's spot, I would have played that at 13, 12, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do have some honorable mentions, but I want to save them for once we have our list locked.
Yeah, well, you know what? Look,
down to you.
I'm in a real pickle here, so let's talk about the honorable mentions. Let's talk about all the things that we're trying to fit in the number one spot here.
Okay, that's fair. It's a really good way to vamp. I want to quickly mention Gremlins. Nobody talked about Gremlins. I think that's definitely a Christmas movie.
20, maybe 25. Yeah,
good. Matt, we're talking about honorable mentions, i.e. off the list. So, message received, you know?
Home Alone 2 off the list.
Okay. We talked about Home Alone 2. I mentioned Gremlins. I did want to mention quickly, I don't think it's worth being on the top 13. Definitely of not all time. But The Holdovers, I think as years go on, this will steadily climb the ranks of classic modern day Christmas movies. I think that just
I was afraid I was going to have to veto this one off the list. I was like, it's too new, too recent. I was afraid I was going to have to kick it off the list.
I wouldn't have played it for that very reason of like, oh, it's literally only been out for like 4 weeks or 5 weeks. I think it's a wonderful film, and when we revisit this in 5 years, I don't know, maybe it makes the list then. That's all that I had. Those were like the two main honorable mentions in my boat. Maybe The Year Without a Santa Claus. That's a banger too. Is that the one with the Heat Miser?
Yep.
Yeah, that's a good one. Is. Wow. Ben, honorable mentions.
I mean, I've mentioned a few of them, but Love Actually would be there too. Mm-hmm. And then the other tier A one that I'm sad to not see on here is actually Greta Gerwig's Little Women. I think that's a great movie, and I think it's the best adaptation of that story, but it just felt like too high to put it in the spots that I had after I played whatever I did at Harry Potter at number 10. I had to play Home Alone. I didn't trust you.
Yeah, I get it.
There's a real chance that The Miracle on 34th Street, on 34th Street may not end up on this list. In fact, I'll tell you right now, I'm not going to put it on this list, but I'm sure there's people that are going to be upset about
You'll
that.
Be the better man for it. Yeah.
Yeah. You're going to be like, White Christmas is there and you guys didn't play Miracle on 34th Street? Sorry, listen.
Oh, wow.
Look, apologies to film history and my guy, Jimmy Stewart. I love It's a Wonderful Life. This movie we covered on 3 Films in a Podcast. It was a revelation to me. I loved it so much more than I thought I was going to. I just feel that A Christmas Story is the Christmas movie.
Wow.
It's
That's
the
intense.
only one on this list that is an ongoing meme. It is
wow.
I don't know. It's quintessential Christmas. It's sort of like It's a Wonderful Life and A Christmas Story are quintessential Christmas movies. They're on opposite sides of the coin. And I fully understand that if we do lock this in, we're going to get eaten alive on Twitter. But look,
Matt's passing a kidney stone right now as we record.
This is like a historically bad take at number 1.
I agree with Matt. I do not stand by this
hemisphere. Take. Like, I there's Christmas Story people. There's Ralphie guys out there, you know. I get that there's Ralphie boys. Yeah. If you're a Ralphie boy, that's fine.
Okay. Tell me what number A Christmas Story should have been on this list then.
So 3. Yeah, this like doesn't make my list 10? At all, but like as a collaborative list, yeah, this is in Craig's territory for me, honestly.
Yeah.
This is like
I think 1 is drastically out of place.
7 is high for the like this is set like at 7, I'm not vetoing this, you know.
I love it at number 1. Yeah. I think
wow.
I don't want you to change it like off influence. Like Ethan really leans into the collaborative aspect of this. I really enjoy the competitive aspect of this. So I want you to play competitive collaboration. Play. Yeah.
I was thinking by the title of the draft, man.
I would happily take Helm's Deep over A Christmas Story.
I feel
play Helm's Deep here.
These 4 squares on my screen right now are a perfect representation of what's going to happen on Twitter when we put this out, because there's going to be half the people that are going to be mad A Christmas Story isn't on there, and half the people are going to be mad that It's a Wonderful Life isn't on there.
Here's the thing, Tyler. This graphic that we end up putting out and whatever ends up going out to the people and the listeners is associated with Ben and I's brand. This is our pod. This is not your
You're
pod.
hurting the
You're
brand.
coming on here. You're hurting the brand. You're
you know why I think
besmirching our quality.
A Christmas Story is the better pick because while I think It's a Wonderful Life is a better movie, the three of us are prime examples of people who had seen A Christmas Story plenty of times and had never seen It's a Wonderful Life. I feel like there's a lot of people. Well, I mean, Matt had seen it, I guess, but you and I, like, we hadn't seen it. And I think A Christmas Story is going to play better to people. Like, more people. It's a Wonderful Life isn't playing on TNT for 24 hours. You know what I mean?
How many lines from It's a Wonderful Life can you quote off the top of your head right now?
You want the moon? I'll give you the moon right now. And that's it. That's the only thing I can quote. That's it.
So let me come into this conversation with a take that I have withheld. I've never seen It's a Wonderful Life. I have seen A Christmas Story. I don't think that's representative of what should be on this list. I think it is more representative of an omission in my filmography. But that's just my take.
Okay. I think, look, A Christmas Story, fine. Like it belongs on the list. People like this movie a lot. And you said, like, some people will feel like it's wrong that A Christmas Story is on here. Some people feel like it's wrong that It's a Wonderful Life's on here. But everyone will pretty much collectively feel like number one is high for A Christmas Story.
Yeah.
Like, I know there's a few people that it's their favorite Christmas movie. I don't know anyone personally. I'm sure there's someone out there that's their favorite Christmas movie, but this is somebody's mixed nuts, right? Like, this does not belong at number one. Whereas It's a Wonderful Life has stood the test of time. And yeah, you guys hadn't seen it, but then you could potentially position yourself to be kind of like, you know, when Rolling Stone ranks their songs and movies, and like they throw a song you've never heard at number 3 or 2, you go listen to it, you're like, oh yeah, this is a great song because I saw it on Rolling Stone. People might go check this movie out because it got ranked on A24's top Christmas movies.
Are you suggesting that we could be the stewards of Jimmy Stewart? Be the stewards?
Jimmy Stewart.
This is by far, Jimmy Stewart. By far and away, in the 3 years that I've been podcasting with all of you, Ethan, I've now been podcasting with you for 3 years as well as my dear friends Matt and Ben. This is by far the most disagreement we've ever had on any podcast. I love it. I want this to go for another 20 minutes, but it can't. Ben and Matt have had the most compelling arguments to me. And I feel like the difference is
no shit anything.
You said,
yeah, I appreciate that. Thanks. The only guy left out of the conversation.
Look, you tried to nominate Oppenheimer from the gun. Your credibility went out the window.
I just wanted to ask the question. That's it. I just wanted to ask the question.
Really, what it was is Ben mentioned that of all the movies, you haven't even seen It's a Wonderful Life. I just barely saw it. Ben just barely saw it. But we'd all seen A Christmas Story. But I also admitted that when I saw this movie, It's a Wonderful Life, I instantly loved it. It became one of my favorites. I loved it so much. And so with that in mind, Matt just solidified the argument. I do feel like if there's anyone out there that hasn't seen It's a Wonderful Life and would steer personally towards A Christmas Story because it's easier and more comfortable, you should see It's a Wonderful Life. It should be number one on this list. And it's going to be number one on this list. But I really love the conversation that we just had. I'm going to lock it in. It's a Wonderful Life is going to go at number one. Ethan, if you haven't seen this by the time Christmas rolls around, then
I will watch it. I will watch it tonight.
Retroactively vetoing another pick.
He's going to shoot your eyes out.
No, I mean, it's truly great. It's truly a beautiful movie. And it's one that's like, the second it was done, I was like, oh, okay, that's why people have been talking about it for X amount of years. You know, this is why Jimmy Stewart's the GOAT. This is it, man.
We deserve Clarence's wings, Tyler. Clarence got his wings thanks to you.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's going to go on to number one, which means A Christmas Story, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, Die Hard, Bad Santa, Jingle All the Way. These are all Home Alone 2. All of these are not going to be on the list, but I do feel like we ended it with the right number one. That was a great conversation, and I appreciate it.
Yeah.
And Ethan, your arguments did help.
Just wasn't good enough.
The A24 brand is upheld.
Yes, done it.
So, okay, so this is our locked in Christmas movies collaborative draft right here. So, number 13, How the Grinch Stole Christmas, the Ron Howard, Jim Carrey one. Number 12, Mixed Nuts. Number 11, The Polar Express. Number 10, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. Number 9, The Santa Claus. Number 8, Christmas with the Cranks. Number 7, The Nightmare Before Christmas. Number 6, Home Alone. Number 5, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. Number 4, A Muppet Christmas Carol. Number 3, White Christmas. Number 2, Elf, and number 1, A Wonderful Life. We already mentioned honorable mentions, so we'll kind of skip past that. Reading through this list, I feel like it's a pretty good cross section of where we all stand. Of course, notably some big movies that did not make this list. But that's okay. That's the collaborative portion, and we'll live to see another draft, another day in a new year. Matt, Tyler, thanks so much for coming on the pod, guys. I really appreciate it. This was just a truly wonderful, way more stressful event than I had ever thought it might be. Tyler, if people want to find more of you, where can they find you at?
Oh, that can't possibly be the case. No one needs anything more from me. No, just follow. Go ahead and follow Unsung Gems, Unsung_Gems on all the social platforms. And check out 3 Films in a Pod as well. We've got, I don't know, hundreds of episodes of content, hours and hours and hours of content of me droning on. I know you can't get enough. At 3 Films Pod on all the socials. And yeah, thanks for having me on, guys. It's always a blast. I haven't been on a podcast in a minute, so this was good.
Yeah, absolutely. Matt, what about you? If people want to find you, where can they find you at?
Same. Just roll on up to Unsung Gems or 3 Films in a Pod, and you'll find me. You'll find me everywhere there.
I love it. Your menacing presence, honestly, everywhere.
And Ethan, I'm sorry I was so hard on you this podcast. I just realized I was a real jerk to you.
Fuck you, Tyler. You can't come in and say that after the draft, dude. That's
I'm just
empty words.
I'm just jealous. This is a guy that just
after the draft.
Ethan is the hardest working person I know. He just got his master's degree in film. He's got a million podcasts.
Don't try to gaslight me, Tyler. Don't take me down.
His Christmas cakes are garbage.
Class act.
Great person. I'm sorry for being filmy.
He's just such a pro. Ethan's just such a pro.
I'm already looking forward to having both of you back on our new podcast, the Movie Draft Podcast, coming out January 16th. That's going to be a lot of fun. You guys will definitely be on way more episodes than should even be allowed. But that's okay, because you guys bring the takes, and I appreciate that. Next week on this pod, we are talking about Jonathan Glazer's The Zone of Interest, ? I know we've been doing this a lot recently.
Yeah.
If Salt Lake gets it, if Portland gets it, we are recording this like a couple weeks in advance, so we don't have showtimes quite yet. I have already seen The Zone of Interest. I saw it at New York Film Festival, but a one-man conversation about that would be no good. So I'm excited. I'm excited for Ben when you can see it, hopefully, and then maybe the week after that, or maybe replacing that. We'll. You know what happens in New York? Kids get lost, man. It's scary stuff. Makes for a great Christmas movie.
Everything's better. Everything's better in New York. We all know that.
We'll be talking about The Iron Claw, which Ben and I are both very, very excited about. We're gonna have a wonderful guest on the pod to talk about that with us. A huge wrestling guy. He writes about wrestling for a website. He is obsessed with it. So I'm excited to have him on the show and talk about that with us. Ben, we're gonna be closing out the year soon, man. This is a great way to kind of finish up the draft on this show.
Polar Express aside, you're right. This was a wonderful way to wrap up this whole show. I'm curious to know what everyone thought about our 13 picks, specifically Ethan's 3. But I'd love to hear all of them.
My 7 nominations, that 3 of them only got locked in.
Yeah, Ethan's 20 movies he had to wrap
We saved Christmas. We saved you all.
We did. Yeah,
Ethan's picks.
Right.
Yeah, we'd love to know what you guys thought about it, what your list would look like. Don't forget to subscribe to us on YouTube, where you can watch all 4 of us. And yeah, little plug for the other pod. Go check out Unsung_Gems. We're gonna be kicking off. Ethan's gonna be coming on there, which is gonna be awesome. We're talking about some directorial debuts, and he's gonna pick one that we're gonna talk about. I'm excited. You can also support us on Patreon, where we talk about movies that are not A24 movies. Right now, we're in the middle of our Michael Mann series. We're talking about Heat, Collateral and getting ready for Ferrari. So you can go follow and support us there. So thank you so much, everyone, for your support. Matt and Tyler, it's so good to see you guys again. I'm glad you guys came on. This was a lot of fun. And yeah, I'm Ben Lawhorn.
And I am Ethan Simi. Spring break forever, bitches.